It's a tale of two receptions in Beijing. On your left, US President Donald Trump arriving in China last week, and on your right, Russian President Vladimir Putin landing in Beijing on Tuesday afternoon. Both leaders received the full red carpet treatment: military honors, children waving flags, rows of diplomats and senior Chinese officials lining the tarmac. The optics were carefully choreographed. But there was one striking similarity. Chinese President Xi Jinping personally did not show up at the airport to receive either leader. Now, all eyes are on Wednesday's high-level summit between Xi and Putin, a meeting expected to showcase warmth, strategic alignment, and political camaraderie at a time of deep global uncertainty.
News overnight that the United States and Israel are preparing for another round of attacks and escalation in the war. And coming out today, May 20th, 2026, we're hearing a response back from Iran stating that if you attack Iran again, we are going to take this war beyond the Middle East and hit you in ways that you have never imagined. Now, this comes as in the last 24 hours, I also shared with you that there was a terrorist that was coordinating attacks on U.S. soil in cities in Los Angeles, Scottsdale, Arizona, and New York City, and New York City.
According to the Reuters report, Iranian officials now believe sending enriched uranium abroad would leave the Islamic Republic exposed and vulnerable to future attacks by the United States or Israel.
And Putin and Xi Jinping condemned U.S. foreign policy as, quote, unquote, irresponsible. Now is the Gatestone Institute senior fellow, Gordon Chang. Gordon, of course, Xi Jinping invites Putin right after Trump leaves. One more pinch there. Your reaction?
Well, the narrative, of course, is that the world is coming to China. But when you look at both China and Russia right now, you're talking about two weak states. You're talking about two weak states.
And the 10 horns which thou sawest upon the beast, these shall hate the whore, and shall make her desolate and naked, and shall eat her flesh, and burn her with fire. For God hath put in their hearts to fulfill his will, and to agree, and give their kingdom unto the beast, until the words of God shall be fulfilled.
You're talking about two weak states.
Therefore the he-goat waxed very great, and when he was strong, the great horn was broken.
Because nobody can beat us. No, we have the strongest military in the world by far. Not China, not Russia, not anybody.
Therefore the he-goat waxed very great, and when he was strong, the great horn was broken.
We have the best military equipment in the world, and we have the strongest military in the world. If you remember ISIS, General Raisin Kane, right? We knocked it out in 3 weeks. Remember they said it would take 4 years to knock out ISIS? We did it in 3 weeks.
Therefore the he-goat waxed very great, and when he was strong, the great horn was broken.
We have more than anybody else. We have better, we have newer, but it's something we don't ever want to even have to think about. But when
Therefore the he-goat waxed very great, and when he was strong, the great horn was broken.
Hey, I'm going to go over something that took me years to figure out, and I didn't even figure it out. Yahweh showed me. Now this prophecy makes sense, and in light of what's taking place right now, I'm going to show you the timeline from his point of view. If you haven't seen my last documentary, you need to see it, because I go over much of the timeline in that one. I know it's 2 hours and 44 minutes, but you got to see what I'm about to show you today and what's in this documentary and this next video that I'm working on. Boy, did I walk right on past it. But I want to bring this up first. I don't know if you feel the way I do about this. Something is not right. I'm still doing some thinking on it. Something's really wrong here. For Donald Trump to meet with Xi Jinping and just, 2 days later, now Putin's meeting with Xi Jinping. Something's getting ready to happen. These are, Russia, China, US are the three biggest superpowers on the earth. Something is about to go down. And I'm going to show you a prophecy. And you got to compare it to my documentary. The day that Satan's church stands still. I go over the timeline much in it. And it's every time I'm looking at this stuff, it's just being confirmed more and more. And we got to see it from his point of view. And it took all these years. I couldn't understand what Isaiah is saying here. Because he seems to change subject, which I'll get into in just a sec. And I never could understand it. It never made sense until now. It's one of those I want to slap myself in the face type deals. Oh boy. Oh, if I'm right on this and everything telling me that, oh yes. If I'm right on this, boy, oh boy, get your seat belts on. Isaiah chapter 30, but first I'm going to start. Now, I'm not going over this whole chapter, just a few verses. It'll take too long. Now this chapter's starting to make sense. I couldn't get it before because I didn't get verse 26. I didn't get it right. Now it makes sense with this Iran war. Now it's coming into focus. But this right here in verse 19 and verse 20 though, notice at what point this is taking place. For the people shall dwell in Zion. Wait a second, that Zion's not here yet. The move of Zion is getting ready to happen. At Jerusalem, thou shalt weep no more. Wait a second. He will be very gracious unto you at the voice of thy cry. When he shall hear it, he will answer you. Wait a second. Now that's Isaiah chapter 66. As soon as Zion travails, Zion brings forth her children. We're seeing a pattern. And it's pointed right at New York City and its destruction. Just wait until you see this video I'm working on. Oh, New York City's written all over it. It is here too. It's the city that's destroyed in Revelation 18, that great city of Babylon. It all makes sense now. But he says you're going to weep no more. This is the travailing. That's where we're building up to. But what gets us there? That's in these verses we're going to get into. But verse 20. And though the Elohim give you the bread of adversity and the water of affliction, notice what he says here. Yet shall not thy teachers be removed into a corner anymore, but thine eyes shall see thy teachers. How many of Yahweh's teachers are shadow banned? Knocked down, not seen. All the liars on YouTube land, wherever, yeah, millions. I just checked it yesterday. 2.5 years I have been on YouTube land. It just now topped over 18,000 views. 2.5 years. I should get that with just one video, not over 100 or some, however much it was, in 2.5 years. That's being pushed into a corner by the beast system. Shadow banned, censored. Yet I won't be in a corner much longer. Now he's going to show his true teachers. Like I showed in my last video, the day Satan's church stands still. But here's the two verses that that seem to talk different, going to two different directions. It didn't make sense. Now, duh, Kenneth, duh. I've got to be the dumbest thing on the earth not to have seen it. Till he showed me what it means. Oh my God. All these years of trying to figure this out. All of these years. Now it comes into focus. I used to think this was talking about September 11th and the three towers of 1, 2, and 7. It's always 127. Always. So verse 25. And there should be upon every high mountain and upon every high hill rivers and streams of waters. That's life going on as normal. In other words, sudden destruction. In the day of the great slaughter when the towers fall. I thought, it was September 11th. And I still can't find anything in history that is a day of great slaughter. This is a big day. But a day when he says he heals the breach of his people and the travailing occurs. This is the last day's deal. So there's a great day of slaughter. But what is he talking about? When the towers fall. I thought it was September 11th. Now I'm shown September 11th was the foreshadowing that all of New York is going to crash and burn, and it causes the fall of America, the Babylon. From that city being destroyed, then we're getting hit one way and another, and they're hissing at all the plagues of Jeremiah chapter 50 and 51 as the U.S. is going down, 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 down. We're getting hit, slammed, and beat, destroyed every which direction. Because it takes time for us to travail and to have a second Exodus out of here. But what is this great day of slaughter? September 11th was our foreshadowing. Towers 127, 1, 2, and 7 was the foreshadow of all of it going down, which is why he has to hit New York first, because the Statue of Liberty, the statue of Jezebel, has to be the first place to go down to judge the great whore, which is the Statue of Liberty, is symbolizing it, the great whore. And from New York falling, in 1 hour, 1 day, comes death, famine, and mourning. Well, there's a day of great slaughter. This has to be one and the same. It has to be. But the rest of the prophets start to fall into place. Isaiah says very little, but when you compare it to the rest of the prophets, they're giving you the rest of the story. That's how Yahweh wants us to work. Is we scurry around and see what they're all saying and then put the whole story together the best we can. But this next verse, what always confuses me, seems to change the subject. But he doesn't. Now I get it after all these years. In the day of the great slaughter, when the towers fall, that word towers, it means towers, yeah. There's nothing in history. This has got to be the day of the travailing anyway. So this is when Zion is being established. So it is last days. So notice this, verse 26. Moreover, his way of saying something's going along with this. It's moreover is another way of saying this is a part of the story. Moreover, the light of the moon shall be as the light of the sun. What does the moon have to do with anything? Well, it has something to do with this great day of slaughter when the towers fall. As the light of the sun shall be sevenfold, and the light of 7 days, in the day that the Elohim binds up the breach of his people and heals the stroke of their wound. Well, that's Daniel unto 2,300 days, and then the sanctuary is cleansed. That's the same thing. The breach hasn't been cleansed yet. Zion hasn't started yet. But a day of great slaughter is going, as shown here, is going to kick it in, but it's got something to do with the moon. The light of the moon should be as the light of the sun. The light of the sun should be sevenfold. Well, the sun ain't going to be 7 times brighter. Neither is the moon. What's he saying? As the light of 7 days. Now, that's a whole different teaching. This here, by the way, he knew the calendar. This is proof of his calendar. All right. The light of the moon should be as the light of the sun. Now, the sun is always the same size as we're looking at it. Day after day after day, same size. Well, the full moon is also the same circumference from our point of view as well when it's full. The light of the moon should be as the light of the sun. And when you take this, and he says, sevenfold, the light of the sun should be sevenfold. The light of the sun is not sevenfold. What he's saying is, and scientists will tell you, you take the light of the full moon and you times it 7 times that amount of light, and it is the regular light of the sun. As the light of 7 days. When the full moon day happens, then you count 7 days to the Sabbath. 4 Sabbaths, regular Sabbaths every month as the light of 7 days. The full moon, he's telling you, is the light that tells you, he's screaming it at you that there is a full moon somewhere that's pointing the finger at a day of great slaughter when the towers fall. There's a full moon day is what he's trying to tell you. Because that's how the calendar worked, and he knew what the calendar was. So he's telling you there's a full moon day that is a precursor during the time that these towers are going to fall. That's what he's telling you. But what full moon? Could be any. Every month's got a full moon. Which one? There's got to be something out there that stands out like a sore thumb. There's got to be a full moon somewhere that is the one. Because he say there is a great slaughter, but moreover, we're being shown by a light of the moon should be as light of the sun. Moreover, there's going to be a full moon in this time area of the towers falling, is what he's telling you. We just got to look for it in the last days. Is there a full moon somewhere that is symbolic of towers falling? The answer is absolutely yes. And I show it in my documentaries. But oh boy, it's a lot to put in your brain. And I know it's hard. The day Satan's church stands still goes over the timeline, over the number 127. It's all about that number. Now it all makes sense. And we're watching this stuff unfold right now in front of our eyes. So which full moon is it? I showed you. On September 11th, towers 1, 2, and 7. 127 fell as the precursor of 2026. He was trying to tell you this. But you got to go to Daniel to get the rest of the story. You got to find out when the daily is cut off, and it is March 11, 2020. And from that same day, that day is when 2300 days began, which ends this year on June 26th. But you also start the 1290-day count, which ended on September 22nd, 2023. And just as Yahweh showed me, there was 99 days left in the Babylonian year. He was telling you, you're going to count 3 cycles. The first 99 day ended on New Year's Eve of that year. That's 1. But the second 99 day cycle from when the 1290 days ended, just magically, no coincidence here, it had to fall right on April 8th, the total solar eclipse. Come on! And then the 7 more cycles fell right smack dab on March 2nd, 2026, the blood red eclipse. Both eclipses covered from starting with March 11th. That is not coincidence. And with the end of 1290 days, as I told you. No way. That's the moon. That's the moon he's talking about. That full moon. That tells you it's about to happen. So that cycles of 1, the 2, and the 7 more. That's 127 that ended on Purim, which the story of Esther is about 127 provinces, symbolized by September 11th, 127. The 127 ended at this blood red moon on Purim. This is a Purim war. So, the question must be, well, why did this eclipse happen on the first day of the 12th month? Why didn't it happen on the first day of the year? Wouldn't that have been more appropriate? No! That's not what Yahweh's timing is. He wanted us to see something else. He made it happen on March 2nd for a reason. Because it was the 12th month and the first day. That's 12-1. The very day that 127 ended on, and on Purim. And it was over America, the Babylon, that's going to be judged. The very country that has New York in it. 12:1. Daniel 12:1. And at that time shall Michael stand up. Well, that's prophesied in Revelation chapter 12 as well. Is it not? Now go Revelation 12:1. And I saw a woman clothed with the sun, crown of 12 stars, and the moons under her feet, travailing to give birth. Hello? I thought we just saw some of that travailing. That's what that is all about. He's showing us Revelation 12:1 from March 2nd. That landed right on Purim, which in the 127 cycle. But the Purim story is about a woman called Esther. And the story of 127. Hello, come on. You got to be seeing this. This is not coincidence. It's a timing factor. That was the moon Isaiah is talking about. A certain full moon at the time frame of when September 11th, round 2 happens. That's what he's trying to show us. So when he says there's a woman clothed with the sun and the moon's under her feet, the woman is the earth and at the same time his people on the earth. We know that one half of the earth is always covered with the sun, but the other half is always dark, right? So only one day a month is the entire earth for a solid 24 hours covered with the sun, because there's a backside, and a forward side. If I'm clothed and I turn around and you see my naked behind, I'm not fully clothed, am I? So when he says she's clothed with the sun, the 12 stars is 12 months, 12 tribes of Israel, but the moon's under her feet. That means the opposite side of where the sun is. And it happens one day a month. Let's say this is the earth right here. The sun's right here. Here's the earth. It's covering this half of the earth, but the moon is down here under her feet where the sun is reflecting off the full moon, hitting the backside of earth. Hence, all the earth for one full day is covered the whole time and clothed with the sun. He's talking about the calendar as well. And that took place on the first day of the 12th month, Revelation 12:1, on March 2nd. What he's trying to show us. Is that a lot? That's a lot to just to blur it out. That's what he's talking about. But notice this chapter. Now these verses are coming into focus. Notice verse 27. Behold, the name of the Elohim cometh from far, burning, notice it's burning with his anger, and the burden thereof is heavy. His lips are full of indignation, but notice, and his tongue as a devouring fire. What might that be? His breath as a devouring fire. Well, let's see. Verse 30. Elohim shall cause his glorious voice to be heard, and he shall show the lighting down of his arm, like putting his foot down, with the indignation of his anger. Now he's mad. Judgments are beginning. And his way of talking to us is a fire. With the flame of his anger, his glorious voice is as a flame of a devouring fire with scattering and tempest and hailstones. That sounds like nuclear explosions to me. What about you? He's talking to us through the fires going boom, boom, and his wrath spoken from what he's going to cause to happen. That's what he's talking about here. Why he speaks with fire. He's speaking through the judgments and saying, hello everybody, there's a God after all, isn't there? Now you know I'm for real. This is pointed right at New York, right here. Because when we compare the great slaughter, well, that great slaughter is Revelation 18. And from it, he says, in 1 hour cometh death, famine, and mourning. If this is the end of tribulation, there's been nothing but death, famine, and mourning. It doesn't make any sense to start it at the end of tribulation. It's already been going on. He's saying it's starting for real. So that tells me it has to be earlier. Because in Jeremiah chapter 50, Babylon's starting to get invaded, and then we're travailing and going asking the way to Zion. That's not at the end of tribulation. That's before it. So it makes sense that New York City's got to be destroyed soon. I mean, come on. 12:1. Revelation 12:1, the woman. Esther, the woman. Abraham's wife Sarah died at 127. Towers 1, 2, and 7. It's an awful lot of coincidences, isn't it? But if you time any of this from any other day than March 11, 2020, nothing works. With it, everything does. I don't have to manipulate it. I'm just showing you. It matches to the day every single time. That's why Daniel gave us these time figures. We're supposed to count it. We're supposed to count them. Yeah, sure, we have to. But we got to get the right start. And that, when the lockdowns began on March 11th, that's the day. It's the only time this whole world started to be locked down, isn't it? Daily life cut off. Normal way of living cut off. It is the only day, but it comes right into here as well in Isaiah chapter 30. It's fallen right into place. He's trying to tell us something. The timing is on. It's got to be right. This full moon he's talking about is the sign that the towers are going to fall. Let's not be totally wrong, but how else are we supposed to take that? This Iran war is going to go ballistic shortly. This is why I think those meetings with Xi Jinping's going on is because they know it's about to get hot. And he's going to break the bow of Elam just like he promised he would. He's going to destroy their missile strengths. Be greatly diminished. Isaiah chapter 22. Or was it chapter 21? Both chapters. That's going to happen. But then when the great horn was strong from defeating Iran, it smashed like Alexander the Great. He died, what, 32, 33 years old? So it is with Donald Trump and his goat power. We're going to get smashed. Just like he said. Right when he's celebrating, aha, we won. Boom, you get it, U.S. We're going to get it. That's called sudden destruction. Sudden destruction.